Hey, we're playing Blue-Red Delver, and this is game one of a league. Playing as Little Sparrow, and we're on the play, which is nice. And this hand is actually nice. It doesn't have a turn one threat in Delver, but it does have lands for Dreadhorde and Young Pyromancer, and then we also have Daze and Force Will, which is really nice. I'm going to keep this. Probably just going to lead on the Scalding Tarn. It means we can Brainstorm if we need to, we can Daze. We can also just untap in Young Pyromancer, which is really nice. And then maybe later on we can get this Dreadhorde Arcanist into play. So against the lands deck, I think Exploration is a really good card to actually consider dazing here. There's not too much else that we can daze, and especially once this Exploration is in play, the daze is going to get a lot weaker. So here I'm actually happy just to go with... It's interesting. I want to play around Wasteland a little bit, but I also want to get these threats into play pretty early on. So what I could consider is actually forcing here, so we can cast Young Pyromancer or Dreadhorde Arcanist the following turn. But it does put us down an extra card. I think I'm happy just dazing here. Mox Diamond. Interesting. So here I do actually have the option of Brainstorm as well. Mox Diamond's a card that I think could definitely be forced a lot more, but... I think I'm happy to Brainstorm here, use my mana effectively, and then hopefully hit into a third mana source, hopefully a fetch land. Okay, so that's pretty good. So we can put back Island and Volcanic. Draw the Volk and then just play the Delta. And Mox Diamond, if this is going to be the Oko version of lands, then maybe I don't actually want to hit the Mox Diamond here. Maybe I want to keep the Force of Will for something like Oko. So here, happy just to go with Polluted Delta, play around Wasteland, and just pass turn. Tranquil Thicket, okay. With Brainstorm in the bin, maybe Dreadhorde Arcanist actually isn't the worst either. If we do use the Force of Will here and don't draw into something that's free, for the Young Pyromancer to actually get instant value off, I don't mind playing Arcanist and then untapping, playing Young Pyromancer in my pre-combat main phase, and then playing the Brainstorm. I actually knew about the island, so I probably didn't want to draw that. I should have actually fetched in my upkeep. But I'm happy here to just get a Volcanic Island. I might even keep this Volk in hand. It might tempt my opponent to Wasteland this Volk if I only have one red source in their eyes. So I'm going to go with Dreadhorde Arcanist. This is setting up for Young Pyromancer next turn into Brainstorm. Port's pretty interesting. And this definitely looks like Oko, so this is something that I'm very happy to force. We now also have a pretty good opportunity of wastelanding our opponent. They do have Mox Diamond, but unless they have crop rotation, they're not doing too much. I'm going to Pyromancer into Brainstorm first. Delta's perfect. So one card I might be a little bit wary of is Tabernacle in the main deck, but I think I might want to keep my Wasteland for that. So I'm going to put back the Volcanic, and probably just the third Young Pyromancer here. We can then play Polluted Delta and hold up Stifle. Stifle, not a card that I really like in Young Pyromancer decks, or at least in Blue-Red Delver right now, but I think it's fine. I kind of wanted to try it out and see how it goes. And it can just, you can get your opponent, which is nice. We're only running 2 in the deck. We're not running the full 4, which is kind of cool. Looks like they're digging here for an extra... something specific. Sylvan Library. Can't do too much there. That's going to resolve. I'm probably happy here just to keep this this land around. It also means that the Young Pyromancer gets a little bit better because it also triggers an extra damage for the following turn. So hopefully I can go wide in this game 1. Chain Lightning is a pretty great pickup. So let's go Young Pyromancer first. Chain Lightning our opponent. Get 2 more tokens off it. Let's go to attacks. Attack with everything. Trigger the Dreadhorde. Chain Lightning our opponent. Another 2 tokens. I don't think our opponent would be playing something like Tabernacle in the main deck, but I'm going to play Wasteland and just pass, just in case they do, because I think that's the reason why we would lose this game. I can't think of another sweeper that they might have in the main deck that would allow them to win the game. Okay, and they didn't have anything. Sideboard's going to be interesting. There are definitely cards that I want to have in the deck. Force of Will is interesting. There are some cards that I really want to hit, like Oko and Exploration, so I think we can take out the Stifles. I don't think that Stifles are too strong. Surgicals seem great. Abrade's interesting. Null Rod's interesting. This is the Oko version, so I assume they're playing something like Primetime. Winter Orb's pretty good. I'm not sure how good it is on the draw, but I think I'd be okay to have it in the deck. I might think on that for a little bit. Abrade seems okay. Probably want to take out some number of Dazes. I could take out the full 4 if I wished. I want to hit their graveyard, so Surgical's really nice at hitting things like Loam. Winter Orb may slow them down enough, but if it's good enough on the draw, I'm not too sure. Probably don't need Flusterstorm. Blue Elemental Blast doesn't do a whole lot. Red Elemental Blast is interesting because it does hit Oko. Perhaps it's worth it. They might be playing Uro as well, so being able to counter that could be pretty good. I'm gonna sideboard like this. Spell Pierce is interesting as well on the draw, but maybe I can hit something like an Oko if I get to just play a land and pass. Grafdigger's Cage doesn't do anything. Null Rod does hit Mox Diamond, but I'm not too sure if that's enough for Null Rod to be brought in. It doesn't flip Delver, which is pretty big. All these spells flip Delver, which is really nice. I also don't want to over sideboard. I'm gonna Smith this. We'll see how it goes, and then hopefully if there is a game 3, we can adapt by hopefully seeing a bit more from our opponent. This hand is pretty nice. We can't fetch for a basic mountain straight away, but we do have a turn 1 Ponder. We have Surgical. Elemental Blast is a nice removal. Dreadhorde is really nice with Ponder and Lightning Bolt already in the hand, so I'm gonna keep this. Riftstone's pretty nice. Library. Okay. Down to 3 cards, but... So turn 1 Delver is really nice. I could play it safe and hold up Red Elemental Blast in case of Oko, but I think here I'm happy just to go Delver pass. I could also try to set up Delver with Ponder off a Volcanic Island, but I don't want to put my Volcanic Island at risk just yet. So let's go with Island Delver. I'm going to assume my opponent takes at least 4 of this first library. Although we have a Delver in play, it's not the fastest against this deck that most likely has a small amount of early removal. Maybe Abrupt Decay. I don't believe this bug version plays anything like Punishing Fire, which is kind of nice for us. Although Punishing Fire isn't great against a 1/3. Riftstone Portal is really nice in the graveyard as it allows their Dark Taps and other sort of colorless lands to tap for green or white, but I don't think it's worth surgicaling it because it's most likely just a one-off, and I'd rather keep this for some of the more engine cards like Loam. Tireless Tracker. Not too bad, because we already have the Lightning Bolt. The interesting thing here that we have to look at is that Mox Diamond was held up. They didn't tap out for Tireless Tracker and then get a clue straight away. So that's really weird, because they actually have 0 cards in hand as well. I'm not too sure why they didn't tap out for Tracker and then play a land. Maybe I'm missing something, but I don't think I am. See if Delver flips. Brazen Borrower. Do we want to reveal this card? We do not. So because I probably want to keep with the Ponder, I think I'm happy to fetch first. Get Volk. We can Ponder here to set up. I could set up double Delver here. Draw the Delver, keep Ponder on top. Which I actually don't mind. It means we can't bolt the Tireless Tracker this turn. And maybe that's actually the case. Maybe we actually have to go for bolt here. So let's go... put on top, and then... wait. We can't do this. Rough. I don't want to draw the Ponder. I can't take that back. I guess we can shuffle. Do I really need the Wasteland or the second Delver? I probably don't, so I'm actually happy to shuffle here. Brazen Borrower is really nice as well because it kind of answers the Sylvan Library. Taking 4, okay. Interesting. One more card in hand. I'm going to assume we see a tap down here. That is fine. No flip. So my opponent has 1 card, and luckily they can't crop into the combo this turn. So here I don't mind just going Scalding Tarn, attack with Delver. and then play Dreadhorde Arcanist. We don't have to hold up Brazen Borrower this turn, which is nice. I can also just get a basic mountain here to play around Wasteland a little bit. And then we also still have two blue spells or 2 blue sources and 2 red sources. Decay's gonna be fine. Interesting, just 1 card. Chalice on 1. That's going to be fine because we have the Brazen Borrower, which is nice. I think Brazen Borrower is probably one of the best printings for Delver decks in the last 2 years. I'm not going to include Planeswalkers like Oko or Ren. I think just Brazen Borrower really adds to the ability of what this deck does. Do I want to use Brazen Borrower here? I think I do. I want to use my mana effectively here. Brainstorm's nice. What I should have done is use the mountain, not the island here. That's a bit of a misplay because the mountains are only really showing off Red Elemental Blast. There's no real need to fire off the Brainstorm here. There's nothing I can really do with the just the mountain by itself, so I'm happy to pass. And maybe just Brainstorm in response to the Chalice. Sylvan Library, although they can't pay 4 life too aggressively because of the strategy of our deck being quite aggressive, Sylvan Library is still really nice as a way to just scry 3 and make sure you're drawing into something that you want to draw into. The use of Waterlogged Grove also means you can draw extra cards off Sylvan Library without paying the extra life, which is nice. I think Red Elemental Blast is fine against an Oko deck, even though this is more a lands or primetime deck that has Oko as a separate kind of win condition. I still think having the Red Elemental Blast is a lot better than not having them. So we know about Chalice. They have 1 more card. Crop Rotation. Interesting. I think I want to Brainstorm in response here. And probably try to counter this Crop Rotation if possible. Sadly, my only way is really through Force and blue card. I could also find the second Brazen Borrower, which is nice. Daze. Sadly, Daze doesn't really do anything because it doesn't stop the combo. They still have the 2 mana they need if I Daze this. So I think I might just put on top. Let this resolve. There is even the line to Surgical myself just to get the shuffle and try to dig a little bit deeper for this Brazen Borrower. The second one, that is. Maze of Ith. Interesting. So because those two cards in hand are on top are pretty dead, I'm just going to Surgical here. I'm going to hit my own Polluted Delta. Not the greatest play, but those two cards are pretty much dead now, so I'd like to get the shuffle effect before I draw next turn. I do have a line here to get Wasteland as well, because they can't actually copy the maze with Thespian Stage just yet. So we're looking for Brazen Borrower, looking for Abrade. There's a few things we can try to find. Spell Pierce, not what we want. I think seeing this Chalice as well makes us believe that this is going to be a game where I want the extra Abrade in the deck. At least with Brazen Borrower we can get 3 in the air again, and then hopefully attack for at least 3 next turn. Try to keep the pressure going. Try to draw into a non-1 CMC spell. Crop Rotation is also nice in this deck with Sylvan Library because you get to see an extra 3 after you shuffle with the Crop Rotation, which is kind of nice. Stifle can buy a turn against Maze of Ith, but of course here, not the greatest with Chalice for 1. Wasteland's pretty good. So here we definitely cast this Brazen Borrower. Haha, interesting. I think I like Brazen Borrower into Ponder here. They didn't port us either, which is interesting. I could also keep this Brazen Borrower, but I think I need to use this Ponder here. Ah, wow. Misclick. That's really unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. But we adapt. We might as well 6 here as well. Save some time because this game is most likely going to a third game. Loam's pretty nice. Interesting. We will definitely ponder. Oh, Wasteland. Doesn't do a whole lot here. Do I want any of this? It does mean we get to get in for 3, which is nice. I think this is a shuffle, unfortunately. It's not really what I want. Might as well make my opponent need to use the maze. Happy to get this extra Delver into play. And try to just go a little bit wider on the board. I can just 6 here as well. I guess I shouldn't, because if they have Oko, I want to be able to counter it. Charles is fine. So I can either use... I think the Brazen Borrower getting into play is just the best thing here, so I don't mind tapping out for this. I'm most likely drawing into a 1 CMC spell anyway, so it's not going to do much here. Chain Lightning. Alright, get to go in for 3. Sphere of Resistance, interesting. They haven't hit the combo yet, which is nice. They can't crop rotation into it either, which is even better for us. Looks like they're going to start with a Loam. Multiple mazes is tough. But luckily we've got the flyers to try to get through it. Wasteland's okay. Tracker is fine. We have flyers. Interesting. Nice. Okay. So a little fumble, especially with that ponder, but luckily we got there in this game. Land seems pretty tough. I think if they can get the right start with their Mox Diamonds and Explorations, then the Spell Pierces and Dazes become pretty weak early on. So being able to force those or use your Spell Pierce and Dazes on those type of effects is really nice. The Maze of Ithers can be pretty rough. We do have Wasteland in the deck as a 4-of, which is really nice, but we also do just have a pretty good go-wide strategy, which helped here amazingly. I mean, to have a Chalice on the board for the majority of the game and not really have to care about it too much, except for when we wanted to get a threat on the board and go a little bit wider, was pretty nice. I thought, I think this game really showed how good Brazen Borrower is in this deck, because it allows you to get out of situations where Chalice kind of owns the board. I could have, maybe bounced the Sylvan Library if I wanted to. And also just as a 3-1 flyer, it's pretty great, especially with Flash. It just really adds to what Blue Red Delve is trying to do. So really nice to get this game 1. We'll see you for game 2.